Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Global Premier Football Show. This is another episode of fantastic weekend of football. As always, football does not disappoint us. That's why we love the game, and also that's why we love the Premier League with all the excitement that it brings. So, before we dive into the main theme today, where we have to review, or where we will review the past weekend's games, and then preview the next ones. Joined with me is my brother, Augustine Gayflor, here in Ontario, Canada. Augustine, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So this weekend there were a lot of fantastic games that took place in the Premier League. You know, Everton and Liverpool started. They had an early kickoff, and they started an exciting weekend of football. And Saturday ended with Villa and Manchester City, giving us another exciting game. And then the weekend's game ended with a mouth-watering encounter between Manchester United and Arsenal. I know everyone were looking forward to Man United to lose, and personally speaking, I had the feeling that Man United was going to win. But that being said, we're going to go bit by bit into this game, or into these games, and talk about them, you know, and see how these teams performed and what is expected of them for the rest. Not for the rest of the season, because the season is still a very long one, but at least for the next weekend coming up. So let's get into it right away. Aston Villa tied with Manchester City. That was the last game of Saturday. But before then, as mentioned before, Liverpool gave us a very good game. Actually, Everton, I would say, were the more threatening team for me than Liverpool, in terms of their counter-attack and the options that they had to score. So let's look at how they performed. You know, Liverpool had lost Mane to Bayern Munich, and they have replacements in Diaz and Nunez. What do you think for you is, what do you think Liverpool was lacking in that game?
I think that game they were lacking that little bit of fire that Mane always brought to Liverpool. They didn't have, if you watched the game, they didn't really have that. So there was times where, you know, like they would take the foot off the gas. Even big games, Mane would just step up and, you know, make that little tackle, you know, get his foot in there, get dirty with the play, you know, get the team going. They don't have that anymore, right? And if you look at if you look in the middle, who they have that young Carvalho, they have Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
those kids, you know, they're still developing as a players themselves. So to put them in a big derby like that with no understanding where Everton is fighting for their Premier League hopes. So they're not going to sit back and let Liverpool come and just, you know, walk in their backyard with the win. They didn't, you know. So it was a tough one for Liverpool. And the new striker they just got, Nunes, he just came back from suspension.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was surprised that he started over Roberto Firmino, which has been playing really well, in my opinion. So I don't understand where that knowledge came from. So I was shocked when he was in the starting lineup. I thought he was going to come off the bench.
Yeah.
So, Liverpool, they're missing that fire, to be honest. That's what they don't have that right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've said it all. Liverpool, first of all, I believe they are missing Mane, and for me, he's not replaceable no matter what.
No.
You know, and I think they without Mane, and then also Origi left. You know, Origi is always the king of
came off the bench.
Game, you know,
yes,
and he's now playing for Milan. And now you look at how they performed, and those little kids that those young players that you talked about. I mean, no, I believe that they are very good players and potentials for the future, but in a very, very big derby like that, I don't think they had what it takes to deliver in that game. But on the other hand, they had a lot of injuries. Their top starters are all injured. What's his name? Henderson, the captain, is injured. Thiago is also injured. And Naby Keita as well is injured. So it was only Fabinho that they had, to anchor the midfield, while the other two, young players were just playing in front of him. So I think, that's really affected them in that game. So if you look at the screen here, let's take a quick look at the statistics here for Liverpool and for Everton and Liverpool. You would see, Liverpool had all the ball possession, had the total.
But that doesn't mean anything.
Exactly, it doesn't mean anything.
It's what you do with it.
Absolutely. It's like, possession these days, does not guarantee that you're going to win the game.
Oh, no.
And if we'll look at other teams that had the higher percentage of possession, but yet still they lost the game. So, but the thing here is that Liverpool had everything. I mean, Pickford was spectacular. He was the man of the match for me in that game. He made world-class saves. His rating in that game was 9.2. If you look at it here, how they played, and they really, really dug out, and they were playing with all their top players, their new signings and everything. Conor Cody, James Tarkowski, Amadou Onana. These are all players that came in.
But
Neil Maupay would have scored a goal, but I think he hesitated. The extra touch that he had was not necessary, for him to not score that goal against Alisson,
He should have.
Yeah, back again, you see, take a quick look here at the bottom right here. You see the heat map of Neil Maupay, how he played. I think their top outfield player in the attacking third was
Gray.
Yes, you will see where he was, all over the pitch, what he was trying to do. Played 90 minutes, completed 77% of his passes, completed 2 dribbles out of 3, and all those stuff. But at the end, yet still, I think they're still lacking the cutting edge, because their number 9, Calvin Lewin, is not yet back from injury. I think when he gets back, I think they'll be able to
They need a target man. That's for sure.
Then definitely. So, but if you look at Liverpool here, we're going to compare the 2 Liverpool forward players. Also, I think I'm going to bring in
here.
But
here's my question to Liverpool fans. Are people thinking Van Dijk and Andy Robertson have finished, or are they declining? Because lately, I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm not very impressed with how Van Dijk has been playing lately. Like, even against my United, the way he played was not very, very. That's not the Van Dijk like. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he picked up a knock or what's going on.
I mean, honestly speaking, it's up to them to figure that out with regards to, I don't know what could be going on. He had a very lengthy layoff coming back from an ACL that he had, but I think also it takes some time. I know it's probably a season or 2 seasons ago, and sometimes it takes a little while. And playing against Everton, these are like a very tough derby, and it was in that game that he got injured. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for Van Dijk. Everyone tries to make him to be like, yes, he's a very fantastic centre back, but it's not the best of all times for me in terms of being a centre back. He still has to show that, but I think he's a very confident player. He knows what he's doing and when he's on the ball. and all
Is
those
he
stuff.
overconfident? That's the question.
Maybe. But also the partnership he has. He has not had the best partnership in the center back position, right? He has not had the best partnership in the center back position.
Joe Gomez is not bad. He's not. Joe
It's
Gomez
not bad. He's quick. He is quick. You see his hit map. He's very strong. He's very powerful, and he is very also quick. You can't just take him on like that, you know. But I think they stood to the test against Everton, and were able to play it out, you know. But again, going again to their attacking players in Liverpool, there's not much going on so far, besides the 9-0 that they destroyed Bournemouth with. But other than that, I think they still have to, you know, improve. They have a lot of improvements to do in terms of this season. If not, they'll be left behind, honestly speaking. And I think maybe they would have pushed a little bit extra in during the transfer window to get some coverage for these players.
They should have.
You know, because I don't think Liverpool really have depth now, based on the games that their top first team players have not played. Thiago, Henderson, you know, Naby Keita. But anyway, that's I think they gave us a very, very good game of football, and you know, it was a fantastic game to watch against Everton. Pickford was top notch against them there. But anyway, let's move on, because we have a lot to talk about here in terms of the wonderful games that we had, you know, this season. So just, you know, as the results have been so far, the Wolves, Brentford, Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, Aston Villa, the home teams that played, you know, just to give it, you know, let's go into a little quick summary before we go into depth of these other teams that we want to talk about their games so far. Wolverhampton beat Southampton 1-0. Brentford destroyed Leeds United 5-2. Brentford is a team to watch out for this season. They seem not to be slowing down in their approach to retaining their Premier League status. You think they would maybe be struggling, but you don't see them struggling. And I think they make smart signings as well. Yeah, and then Newcastle United couldn't beat Crystal Palace. That was a surprising game for me. I thought they would have won, and I thought that maybe some goals would have been scored. But here again, 0-0. Nick Pope being the player of the match for Newcastle, and the two goalkeepers were like man of the match for their teams. That's very funny.
That tells you it's a busy game.
Yeah, total of 23 shots for Newcastle, 19 shots for Palace, 6 on target for Newcastle, 9 on target for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that was an open game. Very open.
That says a lot of the two teams. I mean, and that's why we love football. You know, that it's a back and forth game. It's not like one-sided and one team just have possession here and there. You know, let's look at the stats here. Corner kicks, 13 for Newcastle. That's a lot. You know, it's funny. I don't know if you think about this, but I think when a team has a lot of corner kicks and there is no single goal, especially when the corner kicks are in double digits, does it mean that they do not work on set pieces during their training sessions or what? What do you think?
They do. Just maybe they just forgetting, like, you know, like it's, I don't know. I don't understand. Why would you have 13 corners and not score one?
It's crazy.
Just maybe the set pieces are not working.
Yeah, and also there's been a lot of poorly taken set pieces this season. You know, from the people that take them either an in swing or out swing. You know, corner kicks. You know,
this is why it's good to have a really good set piece. You see, Southampton, they have a really good set piece taker.
Yes. I think James Ward-Prowse is the best in the business for set
Oh
piece.
my God, on a dead
anywhere
ball,
in the world, anywhere.
he and KDB, those are my two people, man. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand. But if you look at both Newcastle and Crystal Palace, who do they have in terms of set pieces?
I think Kieran Trippier is the one that does it for Newcastle, especially in direct free kicks. But for indirect and corner kicks, I don't really know if they have anyone that steps up and put in a good cross of the ball, like what Cross will do for Southampton.
I think the only person I can think of Newcastle would be John Chevy. That's it. That's the only person.
Yeah, John Shelby. But he has not been playing this season. Probably he's injured or something.
He's a good player. Just.
Anyway, moving forward here, we're talking about the league results so far this season. Villa tied 1-1 with City, and Brighton destroyed Leicester 5-2. I'm really pitying Leicester. They are underperforming, and that is spelling doom for their coach. What do you think? They've let Fofana go. Schmeichel has gone to Nice in France. Their midfielders are not really performing. They were not able to bring in any new player except the last day, signing that they made.
Oh, the center back.
Center back, yes.
I would say the same thing that I said about Liverpool. I said about Leicester. They don't have a leader. Who's the leader? Who do they have?
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Vardy is declining. He's not the same guy 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
If you look at the midfield, they have nobody. They're putting Ndidi in center back.
Yeah.
They didn't. You know what I mean? That's one of the best holding men in the world. Why is he playing center back? Push them out. They're just all over the place right now. Even their coaches asked him to sign players. He's been begging. He's been begging to sign players. Mm-hmm. Why would you let one of your great defenders
that's where he plays?
Yeah, when Fofana left to Chelsea, I was shocked. With no replacement, where did that money go? 75 million. Where did it go?
The owners made profits, but the team is struggling.
That's what I'm saying. So you're gonna make profit, but then at the end of the season, you're gonna lose money because you guys might be, you guys might get relegated. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very unfortunate for them. But let's look at the other team. Let's look at Brighton here. Brighton 3-5-2, just cruising.
Easy.
Cruising. I think this guy here
underrated.
I think he's got himself back again. Welbeck.
Mm-hmm.
He was injured. He came back. He's now playing consistently to the point that Neil Maupay had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you a lot of what he is, what he brings to Brighton.
Yes.
Goals, he's got setups, he assists, he runs. I mean, he is an interesting player to watch this season. I think late last season he started performing well again. I think he's got his position guaranteed. Mm-hmm. This is his map here on my right here of how he performed. Always around the box as a center forward. Always. Constantly. But I think Brighton's coach, we have to also give him credit for what he has been doing with this team.
100%. He's by far. He should be England head coach.
Right.
He's by far the best coach that England have right now.
Yeah.
Then Graham Potter.
Yes, Graham Potter.
Yeah, he's by far the best English coach we have. Like, look who we have. Like, legit. How many players he sold, and he still managed to put a good team out and play good football. So it's like,
yeah,
I'm very impressed. Like, to be honest, very, very good.
Well, let's see what happens after the World Cup. If he would one day get the English national team job.
He should.
Yeah. Well, let's move on now to the next one here. We're going to look at Manchester United and Arsenal. That was the blockbuster of the weekend fixtures. Man United and Arsenal. What can you say about that game? You're a Man United fan, I know. And I'm sure everyone expected you guys to lose, having lost 2 games, your first 2 games. But you've come back. Do you think that beating Liverpool gave you guys a booster of confidence to beat Arsenal?
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the thing, and I said this, even in my last video, I said this. I'm like, Arsenal come into this game very, very confident. They come into this game after winning 5 in a row. But if you look at what the team that Arsenal have played, they haven't played any of the top 6. So the challenge of playing a quality team has not. They beat Fulham, okay. They beat Leicester, okay. That's not compared to United, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. You haven't played any of the big guys, so you can't come in saying, "Hey, we're confident we're going to win this game," or should United be afraid of Arsenal? Why should we be afraid of Arsenal? It doesn't. It just. And if you look at the recent history, they haven't won a game in Old Trafford.
Yeah.
The last game they won when there was no fans. When Thomas Partey took over the game. That was the last game Arsenal won in United. Right?
So let me ask you, when you saw this lineup, what did you think?
Oh, I was happy with the lineup. I was really happy with the lineup. The only surprise that I had was Anthony starting after having two training sessions. That's the only surprise that I had. But Scott McTominay has been playing really well, so I don't think he should have been dropped. He's been playing really, really good, and so I don't know where he was going to play, where he was Casemiro was going to play, but Scott McTominay has been playing really well. So I was happy with the lineup.
Don't you think maybe the incoming of Casemiro made him to step up his game and try to fight for his place?
100%, because he knows if you don't play it well, you're going to get dropped.
Yeah.
You see what happened. You saw what happened to Ronaldo. You saw what happened to Maguire. The coach is not playing around. It's either you perform or you can sit on the bench with me. I'm not favoring anybody.
You're right.
If you're not running, if you're not doing what you've been told, you're going to sit on the bench with me.
I think for me, at some point in the game, United needed to make the changes that they made, and the coach realized that they were dropping in energy level, especially in the physical combat of the game, because playing top McTominay and Eriksen, I think, yes, it was working, but also there was a point in the game where they needed more physical, presence, and I think that was when he moved to bring in Fred. He brought in Fred, and then he brought in Maguire into the game, and as well, he brought in Ronaldo to freshen up the attack after he moved Anthony.
If you noticed in the game, when Ronaldo came in, that's when Arsenal was pressing hard, and the moment Arsenal pressed hard, Rashford made the run from behind every single time against Liverpool. That's exactly what happened against Liverpool as well, because then Ronaldo come in like, oh, you know what, Ronaldo's in. Let's push our line higher. So they push the line higher, and Rashford have that space to go in behind.
Exactly.
It was a masterclass by Ten Hag. It was a smart move.
It was a disguise, I think so, because you think, Ronaldo is maybe he's not that physically fast anymore, but here it comes. Rashford's still in the game. Rashford has been having a very wonderful season so far. I hope he continues that way, because he has had a lot to deal with.
I pray he does.
Yeah. So, and there comes again the possession thing we're talking about, right? Arsenal had all the possession, and they had no idea of what to do with this possession here. And Man United, I think, already knew that they will be playing that way, and always waited to catch them on their counter. And when you have midfielders like Eriksen, who are very good with one-touch passes, and Fernandes, who are these two players are very, very, very
By the way,
players.
What a game by Bruno. Bruno had a good game.
He had a fantastic game. And I think that's what set up the tempo of the game, whereby Rashford was able to, hit those counter attacks, even to the point that, yeah, Ericsson also had to join at the point he set up the third goal,
Mm-hmm.
So trust
Should
me,
have been
the
four.
possession. I think Arsenal went into a state of being, they were naive at some point in the game when they make those changes.
They were just overconfident, man. That's what it is.
Look at
That's what,
Rashford. Almost everywhere on the pitch, everywhere on the pitch, everywhere on the pitch, with all his counter-attacking moves. Well, I'm happy to see Rashford enjoying football again. He has been through a lot, I think. And kudos to your manager. I think he was a very smart manager. He outsmarted Arteta by all
100%.
means. I think he read the game ahead of him too.
And there's freaking William Saliba. Arsenal fans are saying William Saliba the best center back in the world. Come on, man. The guy has played 5 games, and you guys are. This is why I don't like these people. Like, they just overrate their players so much. It's crazy.
You have to give them credit for being loyal. Everyone wants to be loyal to their fans, but I know that there are some fans who are delusional on what it is that their players can offer and bring to the table, right? So William Saliba is still to be tested. So you give him one full season, give him 2 seasons, and then we start talking about being the best center back. And he has to make the French national team first.
He's a good center back. He's a young,
very good. Yeah, look at his hit map here, which means he worked really hard. I mean, he's put in his effort, but
did you see that pass? Did you see the pass by Bruno? The way William Saliba had his body turned, if he would have turned the other way, he would have intercepted the pass. But he didn't. It's just his lack of experience. He'll get it, but you can't compare him to the guys that have been doing it.
If you ask me who is the best center back in the world, you know who it is?
Who?
Thiago Silva.
The guy's 37.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it at the highest level.
100%. Exactly. The experience, he reached the game more than any center back in the Premier League. He reads the game. He knows where you're going to. He knows where the ball is going to. He knows the physics of ball movement. So he goes and waits for the ball where the ball is going to, and he intercepts it.
Exactly.
So anyway, let's move on. Kudos to Man United. They
Go United.
You guys did well. So congratulations on the win. That's 4 wins on the bounce. And you are closing in the 12 points after losing your first 2 games. And I hope you guys have a good season. It's going to be an interesting one. And now, moving ahead, in the menu, we have a long menu, but it's getting shorter and shorter. Chelsea West Ham, what a disaster of a game. What do you think? We were lucky. I'm a Chelsea fan.
Oh my God.
Lucky.
I don't know how Chelsea came up with the 3-point in that game. I have no idea. Personally, I thought that was a foul on Mendy. That just me speaking. I thought that was a foul. And the fact that was not called. Even David Moyes was not happy with the call. So again, it's just like we talked about earlier. It's football.
Let's start this way. Let's look at the lineup. Okay. Let's look at the lineup. Chelsea started with their normal back 3. This was Chelsea's lineup. Okay, 3-5-2. Once I saw this lineup, I knew that we will be in trouble. Honestly speaking,
at the holding mid. Wow.
I mean, when you play a back 3, you play 5 midfielders. There's no necessarily a proper number 6. All of them have to be box to box, going up and down, to push forward and to drop. So him playing this position is not a problem for me. I personally have a lot of Loftus-Cheek. Why? Because of his physical strength. He's the only Chelsea midfielder that is physically strong. before we signed this new player, Zakaria from Juventus. He's more stronger than it's difficult for you to take the ball off him if he's already on the move. If he's already on the move, you can take the ball from him, and he can hit you off to get the ball from you, which Kovacic does, but not for me. Kovacic is a good dribbler and ball carrier, better than Loftus-Cheek. But when it comes to defending and I think physically he's the strongest of what Chelsea has in the midfield. Now, but my problem with this lineup is here in the attack. That's where my problem is with this lineup. I was not happy. I was not happy with this. Chelsea was successful playing a back three under Antonio Conte. But I remember that we had a proper number 9 in place to do what? To fight, push, do everything. You can't get that from Raheem Sterling. You can't get that from Pulisic. I don't think we will be able to do well in the season with a false 9 when we have this kid, Broja, on the bench, a proper number 9, who came in against Southampton and showed what it is to have a proper number 9 on the field, because your team will be more direct. And he will be able to fight off and challenge against the strong centre-backs in the Premier League. Centre-backs in the Premier League are always physically strong. So when you have a Christian Pulisic and Raheem Sterling playing as the attackers for the opposite team, and you are a huge and tall centre-back, you always have advantage. Also, I think they will have a psychological advantage over this Chelsea forwards. They are skillful, they are talented, but they are not physically strong. You get what I mean? So,
but do you think you guys can get that from Aubameyang?
I don't think we'll get that from Aubameyang. Maybe we'll have to find a different approach in which we play, because we need to play. If you watch this Chelsea game, let's look at the statistics here for a bit. Let's look at the statistics of this game. Chelsea had bulk of the possession. What did we do with it? Absolutely nothing. First half was terrible for me. First half was a terrible first half for Chelsea as a team, and a team that and you're playing against a very physical West Ham team. From their defense to their attack, they're all physical. In their midfield, you have Souček, you have Declan Rice. These guys are very physical. In the attack, you have Antonio, who is also very physical and strong, and then you play with Pulisic and Sterling.
Small.
Very small. The defenders from West Ham, Kozuma and and Carrer, they will have an Emerson. When you see Sterling and Christian Pulisic playing against those centre backs, you're like, oh, physically they will win the battle, right? Because that's what I think. Whenever I see someone that I'm bigger than, I'm stronger than on the pitch, I'm already one step ahead of you, because I know that I can beat you in the physical strength of the game, and you cannot.
Maybe the coach is looking at pace.
Yeah, but you're looking at pace. Is Pulisic the quickest that we can have? When you talk about pace, you also have to have some physical strength to be able to do pace. Look at Mane. Look at how Mane is built physically. Mane's got space. He's got pace. Look at Salah. Salah is one of the quickest players in the Premier League, but they are physically strong. Pulisic is not physically strong. He's got flair, he's got the dribbling skills, but not with the ability to go shoulder to shoulder.
I agree for sure.
So I think Chelsea's game, if you watch that game, Chelsea's game changed when they brought in Armando Broja and they brought in Kai Havertz. That was when we were able to play direct passes. These players run to the ball, challenge the centre backs, the West Ham centre backs, and we're able to get something out of the game. I've always said it. If we continue playing, even if Aubameyang was not in our team, and we continue playing without a proper number 9, we will not finish top 4. Chelsea will not finish top 4. Because if you look at all the teams that have a proper number 9, they're all scoring goals. Man City knows the reason, knows that they need a proper number 9. What did they do? They let Jesus go, brought in Haaland. They know that they need a point of attack, so a player that can run to the ball with those forward passes. And unfortunately, we don't have midfielders in Chelsea that play those long passes for the striker to go forward, like Man City has, like Man United have now, even like Arsenal has. Even Tottenham has those midfielders that play those passes for Son to run to, for Richarlison to run to. You see Chelsea's game, what do you see? Sideways passes, possession. I mean, we just need to change our approach to this game. I've always had an argument, with a friend of mine. Are you there? Anyway, I think I just lost my guest, and I hope he comes back soon. Meanwhile, I'll continue talking about Chelsea here. So Chelsea needs to look inward and see that they have to play with a proper number 9. Just play with a proper number 9. Nothing beats playing with a proper number 9. Nothing beats that. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. Aston Villa gave Man City a fight for their lives. They gave them a fight for their lives. Aston Villa, I didn't know that Aston Villa would get a draw against Man City. I didn't know that. But that's why we love the Premier League. And with that result, nothing is confirmed. It's still just 6 games into the league season. And we will see how they fare. We will see how Man City will end up. I know there will always be the title contenders. There will always be number 1. There will always be number 1. So kudos to Man City. Kudos to Aston Villa, because they were the ones who came out and they took the bull by the horn, and they didn't want to give up. Here in their game here, they played for their lives. They played for their lives. Man City had bulk of the possession as always. Look at the stats here: 72% possession, total number of shots 13 shots, and 3 on target. Actually 4 on target rather. And what happens next? Villa still came back to tie the game. 0-0 at halftime. It tells you how much Villa wanted this game, because the fight for relegation does not take time before it starts. I think Leicester is a team that's already fighting for that, but we'll see. How did the City players perform? Let's look at City here. The main man, Erling Haaland, always there. 7 goals in 6 games, 2 hat-tricks. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Why you have to play with a proper number 9. A proper number 9. Pep Guardiola knew that he needed a proper number 9, and he had to get one. And for those other clubs that don't play with proper number 9s and play with false 9s, you will have yourselves to blame by the end of the season when you don't finish top 4. I'm talking to Chelsea right now. You will have yourself to blame. So you better get on and play your number 9s. Let the rest fight for their positions. You don't play with 2 number 10s, and leave your number 9 on the bench and bring him when you're already chasing a game. No, you have to. You have to. You have to. Let me see if I can get my guest back on the line again. So anyway, we're almost coming to the end of this, and let's look at the the next coming fixtures. Guys, what do you think? Who will be ending up with 3 points next weekend? And by the way, the Champions League starts tomorrow. Chelsea is in business in Croatia against Dynamo Zagreb. So I hope they go out there and play their number 9. As for next weekend, we'll have a mouth-watering game as well. Whew. It will be a wonderful weekend of football again. Leicester City plays Aston Villa. Southampton host Brentford. Bournemouth host Brighton. Manchester City against Tottenham Hotspur. Wow. Arsenal playing Everton. This will be an interesting game to watch. West Ham United plays Newcastle. Crystal Palace, Manchester United. Leeds United, Nottingham Forest. And that will be the end of the weekend fixtures, which actually starts with Chelsea playing Fulham at Craven Cottage and Liverpool hosting Wolverhampton Wanderers. Put down your predictions for us on the comment section, and let us know what you think about these coming fixtures. As usual, can you please do justice to this by liking, subscribing, share with your friends, and be part of our journey in this season? And before I let you go, take a look at the Premier League table. Who do you think is running away with this league? Arsenal is still number 1. 4 games won, 5 games won, 1 loss. City, 1-4, drawn 2. Tottenham, 1-4, drawn 2. Brighton, 1-4, drawn 1, lost 1. Man United back with a bang, 4 games on the bounce. Lost 2, 1-4 straight. Chelsea still fighting for their position. It's not where we belong. We belong up here in the green area. So get it on, Mr. Tuchel. We've played 6, we've won 3. Scrappy wins, losing 2 games that should not have happened, and we've drawn 1. Liverpool the same, fighting for their lives. 2 wins and 3 draws and 1 loss to Man United. Let's look at the bottom part of the table here. West Ham, with all they have, they wouldn't believe that they will be fighting for their lives. Forest, I am really worried about Nottingham Forest. 24 new signings. I don't know how they are going to survive this season, except these signings decide to work very, very hard to keep this team in the Premier League. It's going to be a difficult one, but I hope they find their feet. It's funny that Nottingham Forest, when I see their lineup, their top signings, their most expensive signings are on the bench. I don't know. Coaches, it's up. I mean, he's taking the risk. At the end of the day, if he doesn't get it well, he might not even see out the season, because I don't think there's an owner. I don't think there's any owner of a club who will spend what they have spent on signings, 24 new signings. And if by December they are still struggling here, I think they will fire the coach. Leicester is another team. They've lost 5 games and only drawn 1. I don't know what's up, Leicester. Is it an end of an era? Let us know what you think in the comment section. That's all we have for you now. Thank you very much for being part of our journey, and stay with us throughout the rest of the season. It's going to be fantastic. And besides, it's World Cup year. So where will it end? Who will have it? Brazil. Anyway, let's not go there for now. Thank you very much. And again, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Have a wonderful day.